My name's Max Cooper. I'm a musician. I do a lot of collaborations with visual artists and a lot of scientists and architects and lots of people outside of music. I'm interested in music that's part of wider creative projects. So tonight I'm presenting my 3D AV show, which I've been developing for the last 15 years or so. And I was interested in how I could bring together my interest in visual art, and my interest in sciences, and my interest in music, and how I could fuse them all together. So I started collaborating with mathematicians and scientists and looking for natural systems and research data that I could bring into the live show and present scientific ideas, as part of a visual story, which I then scored to. So my electronic music became a sort of score to this abstract, science-based visual narrative. And then I developed that with, sort of 3D, sort of multiple screens in different layers and wraparound screens and this sort of 3D effects. I think creativity for me is very much fusing disparate ideas. You take one thing that you're interested in and another thing that people don't usually combine, and then you combine them, and that's, I think that's how a lot of creativity works. The more I've been able to fuse together what I love and not worry about whether it should be done, just if I'm interested in something, then that's the more I've found that a useful creative path to follow. I started playing in France a lot for my first releases, around 2008, 2009. I found that people were interested in what I was doing, right from the beginning. So I've always had a really strong relationship with the French people in terms of shows and interaction. One Parisian whose work is in the show is Thomas Vans. And we've worked together on 4 or 5 projects. And Thomas is an amazing experimenter. He creates like the cosmos in a teacup, these little chemical reactions, his secret chemical reactions. Nobody knows how he does it, and he has these macro lens, so you get this really fine zoom on something that looks like, you're out in the universe and there's like black holes and sort of quasars, and there's all these like cosmic structures, but it's all happening in his tiny scale. The fact that something really tiny can make you think it's something huge, that in itself is an interesting concept, and he plays, he takes that to an extreme.